Hi, my name is Jody Green. I'm an extension educator with Nebraska Extension in Douglas and Sarpy counties, and I am an urban entomologist. And today I'm here to talk to you about a pretty common insect, one that you might have heard about, but you think you'll never get. But I have to tell you that you may be hearing about them or seeing them, so we need to get you aware of them, of what they look like, so you'll be able to protect yourself and your family. So bedbugs don't discriminate, and so they can be a problem or concern anywhere and everywhere. They are hitchhikers, so they pretty much go wherever we do as people. So let's talk about what they look like. So bedbugs are visible to the naked eye. Some people think they're pretty small, but I've got a set of preserved specimens that come into our office, and this is what they look like, magnified as this illustration. So they're oval, they're usually like a brown color. When they're fed, they are a deep red and they're more elongated, but they have no wings and they don't jump. They do crawl and they can move pretty fast, but they've got antennae and a piercing and sucking mouth part. So what they do when they need a blood meal, and they are pests of humans, so we are their favorite host. They will typically feed on us in the evening or the nighttime when we're sleeping. And they don't live on the body, but they feed on the body. So you might not see them, but some of the signs that you may get are sensations that something is biting you, or you may see some bites or red marks on exposed parts of your body when you're sleeping. You may also see bugs close to where people are sleeping, which may not be the bed. They are called bed bugs, but they live in cracks and crevices and seams and folds in furniture. Some of the signs that you will see if you don't see any of the bugs are going to be fecal spots, and they are dark marks on fabric. They kind of look like a Sharpie or an ink pen. Or you can see exoskeleton that are dried up shed skins from bed bugs, because they need a blood meal to molt to the next stage of development. And you may also you may also not react to bites, and that's pretty normal. So there is a pretty high percent of the population that don't react to bites, and so that's why sometimes the bedbug populations get out of hand, and we don't notice them right away. So if you do find a bedbug or see signs, what you want to do is inspect the area. And so don't throw out all your furniture or get rid of the bed, because they could be in any of these things. So right here we've got part of a mattress or box spring. They're typically found in box springs in the fabric and the folds. And because they're so tiny, they can fit and hide in these little folds and cracks in the hollow areas of the box spring and around tags and under the corner guards. So you're going to want to take a flashlight and look closely around those areas and look for those signs. And when you see those, you want to make sure that you either contact a professional to come and inspect and treat, or contact your landlord if you're in multi-unit housing or renting, and talk to your family members. You want to communicate that you have to be aware of these things. What you can do is vacuum up some of the areas. One of the tricks to not getting your vacuum infested is to use a pantyhose down in the crevice tool, so that when you are vacuuming, it sucks up the bugs but doesn't get into the vacuum. Another thing you can do for things that you cannot vacuum is use a sticky lint roller to remove any bed bugs from those areas. This may work like in cars or in car seats, things like that. But one of the most handy things you can do is take things that can be washed and dried and put them in a hot dryer on high heat for 20 to 30 minutes. That will kill all bed bugs in all life stages. Sometimes people want to put things outside in a hot car or in a cold car, but right now temperatures are still not cold enough to kill bed bugs. They need to be 0 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 days. And so what you can do if you have small items, you can put them in bags, sealed bags, and put those in the freezer for 4 days. And if you feel like you may have got certain things infested, these plastic totes are really good ways to store things that bed bugs can't crawl out of those. So isolate belongings and store things away from the bed. And so you can take these things and put them in a hot dryer. Make sure to check the lint catcher for any bugs that you might have. If you do find bed bugs, again, we just do not want to panic. It is not the end of the world. It may be expensive and may have some, you may need a lot of resources and time to work on that, but you do not have to, throw away everything. Things that you can do to prevent having infestations in the home, you can use these Bedbug Interceptors. So what it is, it's a bedbug trap. You put the legs of the recliner or the bed into this, this interceptor. What happens is bedbugs are able to climb up and into the interceptor, but get caught in this slippery slope in here. And that way, if they're not already on the bed, then they will get trapped in here. This will prevent some bites. It will also prevent females from laying eggs in the environment. And if you have had a treatment, it will monitor if that treatment is working, because you want these, to catch less and less over time. These mattress encasements are also handy, but it's important to know that they do not prevent an infestation or stop infestations altogether. It helps to be able to detect bed bugs early and to see them, because mattress encasements allow for the bed or the mattress or box spring, pillows even, to have no seams or folds, so it makes those fecal marks more visible, so you can detect bed bugs. There are a lot of encasements out there for mattresses, but bedbug encasements they've been tested against bed bugs. They will protect new mattresses and old mattresses. Bugs cannot get through them or bite through them. And the most specific thing about them is like a really small teeth for zippers, so that if they're in, they can't get out, and if they're out, they can't get in. So they're gonna hide usually where we cannot see them, and places where we don't, that don't get disturbed. So commonly in hotels, they're not going to be on that top mattress because housekeeping cleans those sheets and changes them daily. But you're going to think about like the bed frame, the nightstand, the headboard, pictures, in areas like that. Often the bed skirt and curtains are places that commonly will be hiding spots for them. If you want to know how they get places, well, they're hitchhikers. So what they do is, for example, I brought like my computer bag. You set this down on a bed and there's bed bugs close by. They're attracted to human scent and our carbon dioxide, so they'll come over and try to get on our belongings and come home with us. And then we take that home. If we put that in our bedroom or on our couch, bed bugs can crawl off that and start to feed on our family members. There is a difference between an introduction and an infestation, however. A lot of times places where people don't sleep, like schools or grocery stores, libraries, they may get introductions because a bed bug will fall off of someone's belonging, a purse or an item. But an infestation is where there is a breeding population, egg laying, and a lot of repeated feedings. These are often places where people sleep, like college dorms, apartments, houses, and hotels. And so, just finding a bed bug doesn't mean you're completely infested. That's why you need to be able to know what to look for and how to find out if there is an infestation. So, there are some myths about bed bugs that I just want to mention. So yes, they are visible, so you can see them, but when they're very young, they're very tiny and almost transparent. And as they feed, they're going to suck the blood from people, but it doesn't, it can be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And so after that time, you won't see them. They'll crawl away, and where they're resting, that's when they're digesting. And you may not see that particular bed bug for another 3 to 5 days. So they do not feed like nonstop or every day. So, but it's the perfect time in between like hotel visits from when one guest leaves and another one checks in. So one of the things that we try to tell people is how to protect themselves when they're traveling, because often we will encounter bed bugs in hotels, whether we know it or not. The key, though, is to not bring them home with us, because that's when it gets expensive and becomes a kind of a nightmare. So we can't help what's out there, but we can control what we bring home. So we want to put our suitcases and our luggage on well-lit, like in well-lit areas and on a hard surface. Preferably not the bed. This can be that luggage holder after inspection or in the bathroom. And then when we get home, we want to make sure we don't take our luggage and put it back on the bed. Another way to get bed bugs is to purchase or bring home used furniture without inspection. So that's another key thing, is to not pick up free furniture, or at least inspect those before you bring them home. So there are a lot of resources at your local extension office. We do have infographics and fact sheets, and we also have bed bug cards that will help you identify bed bugs where you see them. This card is handy because anything that, any crack that is the width of this card is a place that a bed bug can hide. But this is just a brief informational segment to help you identify bed bugs so you can protect yourself and prevent from bringing them home. So we hope that you don't have to call us, but you know where to find some scientific resources. Thank you.